fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today, I'm still working on my Everyone is Welcome Here kit. I'm trying to finish this before the end of June. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I'm going to try. So let me zoom into where I'm going to be working, and I will be right back. All right, so, oops, let me start my timer here. I forgot to do that. So I've got my timer started. I've got my notes pulled up here. Let's dive into my life update. What's been going on in my regular life? I actually had some stuff going on this week, surprisingly. It was a little bit of a busy week for me, more so than normal. Hubby and I took a trip to an aquarium, so we had lots of fun doing that. We got to see some, I think they were called harbor seals, along with a bunch of other kind of weird and creepy looking fish. My husband is always joking with me. My rule is if I can't see the bottom of something, I don't swim in it. So basically, unless it's a pool where I can see the bottom of it, I don't want to swim in it. So no oceans, no lakes, no rivers. My family always gives me a hard time. I don't care. After looking at some of those fish, we're walking by and I'm like, that right there is why I don't want to swim in a lake or a river. I don't want to know that something like that is swimming in it with me. No, thank you. Which probably seems crazy to a lot of people, but that's okay. If you enjoy the water, then I've left more space for you because I'm not out there in it. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed going around and seeing everything, and we bought some little tchotchkes while we were there. He bought a new fridge magnet for himself. I got some cute pictures. I got a little stress ball that I thought was an octopus, one of those little stress balls that you squeeze. Thought it was an octopus. And then we got it home, and my son's like, "Why'd you buy a lobster?" And I'm like, "I didn't know it was a lobster. I thought it was an octopus." My husband's laughing at me. "How could you not know it was or know it was a lobster?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just saw all the little floppy legs. I didn't realize they were supposed to be claws." Because I find real lobsters creepy. Too many legs. Lobsters and crabs, too many legs. Again, I'm fine if they're in the water. I don't plan on being in the water, so it's all good. I don't like crab or lobster. So again, if you do, I've left more for you. You're welcome. We also, while we were there, took a trip across some cool bridges that hubby wanted me to see. And we passed by a marina that had a bunch of huge ships docked in it, like on dry dock. I've never seen ships that big before up close. You know, living in Kansas, there is no water really. I mean, there's a couple of lakes and things like that, but none that were close to where we lived. My family was just never really water people. We never owned a boat or went out on the weekends to do that kind of stuff. So I just don't have any experience, especially with some of those big fishing boats. Huge, huge boats. So it was kind of cool to see all of the boats in dry dock. Although none of them had any cool names. They were all just like people names. None of them had any funny names. So, I mean, people can name their boats whatever they want, but I was disappointed I didn't get to see any funny names. But it was cool to see the big boats, so that was fun. That's one of the things that has been interesting about moving here is all the things, especially now school's finally out here. So it's now kind of, I guess, tourist slash vacation season. So there's lots of people here from other places who have rented campgrounds and little chalets and or brought their RVs and are parked on or near the water. I guess lots of people around here, like our lot doesn't go clear down to the water, but you can see the water from our place. And people are like, "Oh yeah, they rent out," especially the people who have property that goes down to the water's edge, but even people like us who where it doesn't go all the way to the water, will put like an RV in their backyard and then rent that out by the week for people who want to come down and just spend time from other provinces, spend time by the water. So I was telling hubby we should get a used camper and park it out in the backyard so we could rent it out. A little Airbnb in the backyard, a little RV rental. It has been interesting to see there's a little town south of us that has a big like campground. The people who own it also own like a grocery store across the street from it. And it's always been super quiet and not very busy. And now their parking lot is full of cars on the campground, and the grocery store is always busy because people come over there from the campground to buy stuff. So, hubby and I also saw when we were in town shopping, there's a new food truck in town. It's a Thai place, and he wants to go try it out, of course. So, someday when we have time, we're going to go try out the new food truck. Like I said, we were out driving around. We took some nice long drives into some of the backwoods country areas. My daughter was getting on me because we saw, I think it was when we were going for our dental appointments, but could have been something else. We saw a moose and a couple of baby bears. And she's like, Mom, you have to get pictures for me. So every time we go driving now, I get my phone out so I can take pictures on if I need to really quick. I tried to get pictures of the bear for her, but it just took me too long to get my phone out. And by then we were past them. So, of course, every time I have my phone out, we never pass anything worth filming. So, I didn't see anything. But it's just really weird to drive on the roads. Like, it's still a highway, but it's 2 lane, which is no big deal. Lots of 2 lanes where we used to live. But you can't see anything because the trees are right up to the edge of the road. There's like a little bit of a shoulder, and that's it. And I'm like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to being able to see farmland and see for miles and miles, and it is not like that here. So that has been interesting. I think I'm almost done with some of these colors. I've used up enough of them. Like I know some of them are going to be in like the little hearts and stuff up at the top where the rest of the letters are, but some of them I just have so few left. I'm like, I hope that was all I needed of those. What was I talking about? I'm getting distracted here. It has been super warm here this week. There has is not the heat. Like I think we did get up to 90 degrees one day, but back in Kansas, it's 90 plus degrees already. And July and August are the hottest months, routinely 110 days. It's not the heat so much, but man, I am not used to the humidity here. Everyone tells me that it's not as bad where we are because we're close to the water, so it's a bit cooler, but man, the humidity some days. The youngest and I went out for one of our walks the other day, and I was like, whoa. I felt like I needed another shower as soon as we went outside. Hubby's family tried to tell me it was the humidity, and I was like, oh no, it's not that bad. You guys are joking. Woof, no. But it's not been super hot, and even if it gets above 80, it usually cools down pretty good at night. That's the killer, is when it doesn't cool off much at night, which I guess is what everybody's been dealing with down in the States because of the heat dome or the heat bubble or whatever they're calling it. I know it's been warm where my daughter is, but I think where she is actually escaped some of the bubble, so it's not been quite as bad where she is as it has been some other places in the States. It was super windy this week, though. I think Wednesday or Thursday, it was like almost Kansas windy here. It was super windy. My son and I were out walking, and I was like, dang, this is like Kansas windy here. We thought it was going to storm, but it never did. I did, however, get my sunflowers planted, so I'm super happy about that. Still haven't got the Christmas tree lights off the tree in the front yard, but I did get my sunflowers planted, so hubby has been watering those. So hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll have some little sprouts at least, so I can have some sunflowers in the yard. We're still in the process of trying to get a raised garden bed. We've been through all kinds of ideas and using our totes and all the kind of stuff, and we went and talked to the guy that was selling them that we had seen, that was selling them out of his house. He wanted $200 for one, and it was not cedar. And I'm like, I'd rather have a cedar one. So hubby was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and he found a guy that was selling smaller ones, but made out of cedar. So he's going to go pick one up from that guy. I think the guy said he'd have it ready on Monday. So hopefully by Monday I'll have a planter and we can get some things in the ground. I don't know if we're going to be able to start from seedlings or if we need to just go buy some plants that have already been started. Hubby wants some pepper plants and some onions, and I wanted some lettuce, so we'll see what we can figure out. And then next year we'll have a planter so we can get started earlier. Oh, the other thing we did this week, hubby had seen this on Facebook, so we drove over to check it out. Not too far from us, somebody has installed a pizza vending machine. I guess it's a guy that owns a pizza place in another town, but I don't know if he said he was from France or Italy. One of those two. I didn't talk to him, hubby did. But anyway, they own a pizza place, and basically they make the pizzas at their shop, and then they bring them to this little, like, vending machine, put them in, there's like a freezer in the back of it, put them in the freezer, and then you just use it like a vending machine. It's open 24/7, and you just drive up. There's only 4 pieces that you can choose from, so the selection is limited, but you can either buy it straight from the freezer and it comes out and then you take it home and cook it yourself, or it has a little oven and you can choose to have the machine cook it for you. So hubby and I, just to try it out, had the machine cook it for us. It only took like 15 minutes, I think, for it to cook. It didn't take very long at all. It was a little expensive for what you get. The pizza is not huge. I think maybe 6 slices was all we got out of it, but it didn't taste bad. I mean, it wasn't the best pizza I've ever had, but for a vending machine pizza, it was good. And I told my husband it was a little pricey for the size of it, but I'm sure for someone in the middle of the night, people who work second or third shift and get off and don't have time or the opportunity to go to grab a pizza from a pizza place, it's probably a nice solution. So it was fun to try it. Like I said, it wasn't the best pizza I've ever had, but it wasn't the worst either. So I've never seen one before, and the guy was telling hubby that they're everywhere over in Europe right now. They're all the rage, I guess. We were watching a thing. I watch a YouTube channel about these people that live in an old historical English manor and how they have to do the upkeep on it and all this kind of stuff. And they had gotten a new robotic mower. And basically, it's like a Roomba for your grass. Like, you have to run it along the perimeter of where you want it to cut to give it a boundary. And then, like a Roomba, it just mows and mows and mows, and it runs on a battery. When the battery runs out, it will trundle itself back to the little charging station, charge up, and then it knows whether or not it finished the job. And if it didn't, it will head back out to the place where it left off, pick right up, and finish mowing the grass for you, which I thought was amazing. So hubby was looking at that. It's like $5,000, but it was cool. And I told my husband, that's what I need. Where's my Roomba to clean my bathroom and my toilet? That's what I need. Instead of using AI to draw me a picture, I want AI to figure out how to clean my bathroom so I don't have to do it. Or cook me a meal. Or something useful. Mow my grass. Do my laundry. That'd be way more useful to me. Okay, what else happened? Oh, hubby and I, on one of our trips, we stopped at a pet store because we thought, well, we'll go in and see if they have any dogs or whatever to pet, and just we'll pet some cute animals while we're out. Take a little break before we get back in the car. So we stopped in at this pet place, and they didn't have any dogs or anything for us to pet, which was kind of a bummer. But they did tell us that we told them we were looking to adopt a pet, but for whatever reason, it's really hard up here. The dogs are super popular. As soon as they hit the shelter, they're gone. So I told hubby, I think we need to go to the shelter and like fill out an adoption form so we can get on like whatever their waiting list is or whatever. Because literally, as soon as one appears, within a couple of hours, it's gone. They have plenty of cats, which is great. I mean, it's not great that they have a ton of cats, but I'm allergic to cats, so that doesn't do me any good. I want a dog. Anyway, they seem to be disappearing, and we've been looking at, should we just buy one? What's the difference in price? Blah, blah, blah. But we'd really like to get a rescue dog. So we were talking to these ladies in the store where we stopped, and they were like, oh, well, have you heard of this rescue? And we're like, no. Why? And it's apparently some lady that basically, I don't know if she lives in Texas or she lives up here, but she travels down to Texas 2 or 3 times a year, maybe more, and basically takes overflow from rescues down there and brings them up here to Canada. They don't stop in where we are, but both the ladies were like, oh, she has a ton of volunteers. If you really want a dog, she'll figure it out. Somebody will drive it to you or whatever, because the town where they deliver the dogs to is not close to us. So they were telling us that they actually they fill up like a bus that's fitted with like dog cages and everything. And then this lady and a bunch of volunteers drive the dogs up from Texas to Canada and then farm them out to the various shelters so that they can get adopted, which I thought was amazing. And we did, she said, like, oh yeah, they live stream, and we saw the bus leave and some of the dogs that were on the bus, and super cute, like 5 or 6 of them that hubby and I were like, oh, we'd love to have that one. But we're still trying to figure out how it works because the actual website is in Texas. And like they have an application form, but they're like, well, we have to come do a visit to make sure, they want to make sure the dogs are going to be taken care of. Some of them are older and that kind of thing, which I get, but it's like they need to do house visits. If we can't do a house visit, you can't adopt. Well, how are you going to do a house visit from Texas? So we just need to contact the lady, I guess, and get some more information. I would love to get another dog. We didn't want to get one after our 2 little dachshunds passed away because we knew we were going to be moving, and sometimes trying to cross, even if you have all their papers and everything, we didn't want to take the chance the poor thing would get stuck in quarantine or something. So we just thought, no, we'll just wait. But we didn't think it would be so hard to get a dog up here either. I mean, even in the small town where we lived in the States, they were, any day you called up the shelter, they had 5 or 6 to pick from, even in a small town, much less a larger one. So I thought it was cool to find out that they were bringing dogs from the US up to here. But now we got to figure out how we go about the process of actually getting one. But it was cool to watch it. Like I said, they had a lot of cool dogs. Although something I have not seen a lot of is dachshunds. We had little mini dachshunds, 2 of them. I don't know, maybe they're just very popular, so they don't last long if they do come up for adoption. But I haven't even really seen anybody here have a dog like that. Smaller dogs, but usually the smaller dogs are like Pomeranians or Chihuahuas or Yorkies. I don't think I've seen a dachshund since we got here. I was talking about getting a bigger dog like a German Shepherd or a Doberman or something like that. I don't know if that's what we'll end up with. We might end up with something kind of in between. We used to have a Brittany dog, so somewhere not that big, but not as small as the dachshunds. Maybe that range is where we'll end up with something. Who knows? Or we'll just fall in love with something that's way bigger than I think. Although I've told my husband I don't want any drool dogs. Like my brother-in-law's Saint Bernard. Oh my gosh, the drool is insane. And no big dogs like that. No big Saint Bernards, Great Danes. My son was trying to be funny the other day. Mom, here's a dog. And it was one of those, oh, what are they called? Burmese mountain dogs. And I was like, yeah, no, that dog will be bigger than me by the time it's full grown. I don't need one that big. I'm trying to go slow as I go along here and make sure that everything is lined up as good as I can make it. The black has been okay so far. I haven't minded. I have the big section in the middle, and then it's just kind of been these smaller pieces on the sides. And I'm kind of wishing maybe I would have started at the top and worked my way down, because I know there's going to be so much more black, although there's words up there, so maybe it won't be as bad as I think. Anyway, okay, so I was talking about dogs and pets. Speaking of dogs and pets, it is almost the end of DP for Pets. That will be, the Diamond Paint Along for that will be ending on June 30th, so a huge thank you to all of you who have participated. I have loved seeing all of the photos everybody put in the Facebook group. It's been really fun to watch everybody. I'm so glad I managed to finish the 2 kits that I did for it. Both of those have been hanging around in my stash for quite some time, so I was happy to be able to work my way through those. I still would like to finish this one before the end of the month, like I said. We'll see whether or not I make it. I just need to have some days where I actually sit down and diamond paint. I know hubby and I went on a couple of trips this week, and because we were gone on trips, I just didn't have as much time to diamond paint as I normally would have, so just need to get back in the flow of things, and I can have this one finished in no time, I'm sure. But it has been really cool, like I said, seeing everybody's projects and what everybody's been working on, so huge thank you to everybody that posted. Keep working, keep going. Even if you don't finish something, that's okay. I actually was really happy because it seemed like just having the paint along, people were a lot more relaxed. Because there's no rules, people were able to be like, hey, you know what, that project I haven't worked on in a while, I'm going to pull that one out, see if I can finish it. So hopefully it was some motivation too for people to maybe get some things done that they'd been either putting off or had just abandoned for a while. That would be cool. Always happy to help motivate people, because sometimes I need that help myself. So I can't wait to see because in August we'll be having our flower paint along. So if you have a floral kit that you've been wanting to do, August would be a great time to do that. We're going to do another paint along. I think I know what kit I'm going to do, so we'll see how that works. I am still working on this kit, as you can see, but I did finish the shaman and the afternoon tea, so I'm super stoked about those. I'm going to be starting my customized bookshelf here shortly. I need to figure out whether I'm going to do book titles or names or authors or what I'm going to do. So once I get that figured out, I will start on that one. But I also have projects that I've been working on the side that I'm still doing some testing on. I'm still waiting to find a kit that has quite a bit of static so I can do my static testing that I want to do. So I can finish that up and share the results with you guys. I thought I was going to be working on that Blue Girl kit, and then when I opened it up and realized that it had those red lines, now I have to figure out how to deal with those. Thank you to everybody who gave me suggestions. Everyone told me that I could contact Diamond Art Club for a refund or points. I'm going to keep the kit because I want to see, I've got some ideas for solutions. Hubby and I were talking and trying to come up with some good brainstorm ideas for ways to fix it so they wouldn't be noticeable, because I'm afraid they're going to be super noticeable in that white area up at the top. I think in the darker areas it'll blend in and you won't be able to see it even though it's a round kit. But in that area up at the top, it's going to be super visible, I'm sure. So I've got some ideas. I had some people share solutions with me that they know they or other people have tried. And several people said they sent back their kits from Diamond Art Club. But if I'm only going to get a partial refund, that doesn't seem fair since I'm not getting to do the kit at all if I have to return it. So I'd rather just keep it if I can get some points for it or something, but I'm not overly concerned about that either. So I'm much more interested in treating it as a challenge to be like, okay, I have this problem, now how do I fix it? So I'm going to keep the kit. I'm not going to return it for a refund or a partial refund. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to make it so that you can't see those pink lines, even with a round kit. Because everybody said, oh, they took those out of circulation, but I don't think they did. I think they just got shelved. And so now sometimes when they do like restocks or whatever, some of these are showing back up. Because I just bought that kit in December of last year. So it wasn't like I bought it 5 or 6 years ago or whenever it was that this issue started coming out. I've also been toying with the idea of starting up kind of a work on it when I can project. I'm debating with myself because I know I'm really horrible about, even if I have multiple kits open, I tend to just stick to one that I'm working on. I'm doing better now that I have an upstairs and a downstairs place to diamond paint. But even at that, I spend more of my time downstairs. So whatever kit is downstairs usually gets worked on more than the one that's upstairs. But I have I think my heaven, both of my heaven and earth, but one of them I have kitted up. And I think it is now currently my oldest kit. So I was like, I should work on that one because it's already kitted up. So I could start working on it and just work on it as I can, have it like be my upstairs kit or something, and then get it finished so that I can move on to the next thing. But it's big and I don't know if I want to do that or if I want to. My other thought was to open up my mystery kit that I have from Diamond Art Club, the one that I got in their very first mystery box, and start working on that one because I think that one would be fun to like cover it up with release papers and number them and then like let you guys pick what section I'm working on. So that might be fun. That was one of my ideas, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just work on these two until I have them finished and then I'll decide whether I need to open up something else or not. I don't want to get too overwhelmed again, get too many things open at once, and then I'm like, I don't know what to work on. Also, it's almost the end of June, which means we're getting close to the beginning of July, which means at the end of June, I need to do a goals update video and figure out where I'm at with my goals. And at the beginning of June, I need to do a stash update and figure out where I am with my stash. I'm pretty sure it's going to have gone down because I haven't bought anything. So and I haven't gotten anything in the way of like freebie diamond paintings that people have sent me. So it should go down because I've just been working on things that are in my stash, but I want to get it back down to where I was in the negatives, and now I'm probably still going to be in the positives, which is not where I wanted to be, but I did it to myself, so it's fine. I just need to start hustling and working on some of these, which the two that I opened, both Blue Girl, the one with the pink lines, and Blue, which I didn't realize until I opened the other one, they were both had blue in the title, but anyway, both of those are rounds and they're not very big, so those two should go pretty quickly. So hopefully I can get multiple kits done in July as well. And maybe by the end of July, I'll have my numbers back down in the negative. We'll see. I don't think I have any events that I'm going to be doing in July. I'm just going to be working on stuff that I want to work on and see how that goes for me. Although I suppose, is it July and August or August and September? That's usually summer with the masters. I do have a couple of mukas that I could work on if I wanted to do something like that. One small one and then two fairly large ones. But I think I have some other kits I want to work on first before I work on those. We'll see. I also realized after I opened both the two Blue and Blue Girl that they're both rounds, and I think unconsciously avoiding squares again, which I need to keep doing because at some point I'm gonna end up with nothing but squares in my stash. So maybe I need to go back and find a square kit that I want to do in July so I can get it finished up and have those done. This grid, it's so nice and tight, but I swear sometimes trying to get them to go where they're supposed to is a real challenge. That's why I think that's going to be all of the yellow. That's why I went ahead and did those. And then I'm doing this one and this one because those are going to be ABs. And then hopefully, I know I've got white ABs up at the top, but I don't think well, I don't know. I don't think I have any more ABs after that, but we'll see. I am really liking the two fairy dusts that are in here though, so stoked about those. Is it two fairy dusts or just one? I feel like one of them, well, I guess the yellow isn't a fairy dust, but it feels like one. This green one is a fairy dust. And then I've got two ABs. One of the purples looks kind of like a fairy dust, but it's just one of, I think it's this dark purple is a purple that is one of the 6,000 colors, the new colors that DAC made. I think there's a blue one too, but I haven't gotten to that yet. So anyway, so yeah, I'll be doing a goals update and a stash update here in the next few weeks. Well, probably in the next week or so, since we're almost at the end of June. If you're doing DP for pets, I will probably just post something in the Facebook group about it's now concluded or whatever. Since we're not doing prizes or anything, I don't need to have like an official announcement or anything like that. But again, a huge thank you to everybody who's been participating. Once again, I really have loved seeing all of the amazing and creative canvases that you guys have done. Such amazing work, seeing it from everybody and posting and just having fun. That's what I want for the Facebook group. So this was kind of a quickie whip and chat, but sometimes quick is good, right? Everybody has stuff to get to. We have dinner with the in-laws. One of my husband's nieces is coming for a visit, so we're going to spend some time visiting with family. Hopefully you got to do that sometime this weekend. If not, hopefully you'll get to do that in the future. So I made a little bit of progress. I've got this little bit of the orange ABs to go. Then I'll fill in over here with the yellow ones. And then, oh, I guess this one is a fairy dust. Is it? Yes, that one is a fairy dust. This orange is a fairy dust. I do have two, this one and this orange. Wow, my brain, you guys. Okay, so once I complete this section, I'll be halfway done with this one. So fingers crossed, by the time you see me again, I'll be working on a new project. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.